Hi guys, and welcome to another batch of your replays. And following the recent format for these videos, I'm going to be including a mid to low tier game, and then I'm going to be including a high tier game. So we're kicking off with Sherby 45343. I'm just going to be calling him Sherby here on Airfield on his M7, or in his M7, which is a tier 5 American medium tank, although we'll get into that in a moment. And I'm also going to be featuring the AMX 50B, driven by brynje, my former platoon mate. I'm going to say former platoon mate because brynje has been seduced by the dark side and is now mainly playing Armored Warfare. But the AMX 50B I've got from brynje is a really good game. He did almost 10k damage. I'm featuring the AMX 50B and the M7 both because they're tanks I have only ever featured on the channel once before. So it's been a long time since my M7 ace tanker, and I thought it was about time we showed the M7 again. And the AMX 50B was only featured on another one of your replays once on the channel, so I thought that needed another airing. But moving on, the M7, yeah, this is a weird little tank. It really is a weird little tank, and it seems to get a lot of hate. Now, Sherby sent me in a lot of replays. I think Sherby's email had either 12 replays or 18 replays in it. I can't remember, and that's why it took me so long to get to it, because this is an older replay, but simply due to the fact of the number of replays Sherby sent in one email. And there were better games. Sherby had much better games. He had a couple of Radley Walters games in there, if I remember correctly, in a T67. But I chose this one because I wanted to talk about the tank. And as I say, the M7 Tier 5 American Medium, it is a strange little beast, and it probably receives a lot of hate from players. At least I notice on the forums a lot of players don't seem to like this tank. And there's possibly a good reason for it, which is its position in the tech tree, because the M7 medium seems very out of place. When we look at the American tech tree, we've got the T1 Cunningham, a tier 1 light tank, and that leads on to the M2 light tank at tier 2, which happens to be a light tank. And then we've got the M3 Stuart, which happens to be a light tank. And then we move on to the M5 Stuart, which happens to be a light tank. And the M5 Stuart unlocks the Chaffee, which is a light tank, and moves on to the T37, the M41 Bulldog, and the T49, all of which happen to be light tanks. However, it also unlocks the M7 medium tank, and then switches back to light tanks for the T21 and the T71. So this is a medium tank that seems completely out of place on the tech tree. But yeah, there's probably a very good reason why the M7 is in here. It may be out of place, but you've got to look at the historical records. Because when the M7 was first designed in 1941, it was actually designed as a light tank. The original plan for this tank was for it to be a light tank. It got relatively good speed, it got relatively good maneuverability, and it was classified as a light. However, between development in 1941 and the time it started rolling off the production line in early 1942, the tank was upgunned. It was given a more powerful gun. It's currently using the 6-pounder, and it was also given slightly more armor. So even though it was designed to be a light tank, it was actually reclassified as a medium tank, but it still carries a lot of light tank characteristics in that it's fast, it's maneuverable. For a medium tank, the camo rating is very good, especially when it's stationary. So about the only disadvantage it has over a light tank is its camo rating on the move isn't very good, but when it's stationary, it is as good as a light tank is. The view range of 370 meters at tier 5 is very good. Again, almost light tank standards. So it pretty much plays like a light tank. So in the tech tree, it's classified as a medium tank, but as I say, it was originally designed as a light tank and still maintains a lot of those characteristics. However, when it came off the production line in 1942, unfortunately it was going up against the M4. So as a light tank, it didn't have that much competition. It was going up against tanks like the Chaffee, but when it was a medium tank, it was being compared to tanks like the M4. The M4 had better guns and it had better armor, and about the only place where the M7 outperformed the M4 was with regards its top speed and maneuverability. So it was cancelled in favor of the M4 as an American medium tank, and only 7 of them were ever built. But as I say, it's pretty much a light tank, and we're going to be seeing a lot of those characteristics in this particular game from Sherby. As I say here on Airfield, we're going to go And Sherby has got a nice matchup. No XBM, it's an older replay again, apologies, but it doesn't take away from how good this game is. And what you can see is the acceleration is quite good. But the tank does get quite a bit of hate. It's got very, very little armor. It got more armor than when it was originally designed, but unfortunately the armor is still very, very poor for a medium tank. So it doesn't get a lot of survivability, and also the hit points on the tank aren't amazing. 440 is actually on the low side for a tier 5 medium. Now there are tier 5 mediums that are similar. For example, the Chinokai or the Chinu have 440 hit points. But what you can see is the speed here and a nice ram kill on the M5 Stuart. So yeah, there's the first kill for Sherby, and you can see that the speed and maneuverability of the tank is good. He wasn't able to bounce the M5 Stuart, which was easily able to pen him. As I say, the tank doesn't get a lot of armor. But yeah, hit points, 440 is the same as the Chinokai, but when the M7 was originally introduced, it was actually the medium tank, tier 5 medium tank in-game, before other tanks were introduced, that had the lowest hit points. So no armor, low hit points. But what you're going to see here is the camo rating. So Sherby is using the 6-pounder gun. I'm going to talk about the gun in a moment. You see the rate of fire here, just pumping shots into this Matilda. Now this Matilda can't actually see him. Matilda was blind firing where he thought Sherby was. And the camo rating on the tank, even though it's a medium tank, is almost like a light tank. So his camo rating there held up, wasn't spotted, was able to take out the Matilda. The gun he's using is a 6-pounder, so it gets 105mm, 75 damage, which is quite good, especially when you consider you can flank and get to the sides and rear in this tank. And then you've got premium ammo, which is extremely good at 170mm of penetration, 75 damage. So it's almost a typical British 6-pounder here. And once again, you can see the rate of fire. The alpha damage may not be high, but the rate of fire makes up for it. So Sherby's on 2 kills, he's on almost 800 damage, and he doesn't have a lot of support up here, just a Matilda, and in the meantime a Chinokai, an AT2 and an M4 have been spotted basically in front of him, but the enemy team aren't advancing. Sherby's team have been very, very aggressive down the HJ lines, and Sherby uses his speed, he uses maneuverability, realizes that the enemy tanks are focused on the tanks moving into their spawn, and look at this, he moves up, and there's the M4 that the M7 was cancelled in favour of, and you can see the rate of fire here. Sherby hugs, face hugs, the M4 bounces. You can see this rate of fire, just pouring shots into the M4. May have damaged the M4's gun or ammo rack. M4 wasn't able to get another shot. And this is beautiful play here. Look at that. He tracks the AT2, gets to the rear of the AT2, and is having problems penning, so he switches to premium ammo. And the premium ammo is going to go through the AT2. So sometimes the penetration on the gun is going to let you down. Couldn't pen the AT2 without premium, but look at the rate of fire. That takes Sherby up to 16, almost 1700 damage, and his 4th kill. And again, using the speed, using the maneuverability, this tank doesn't have any armor, and not very many hit points, so Sherby needs to be careful here. But Cruiser 2 down here, and he goes for the ram kill, and rams the cruiser, but unfortunately takes a lot of damage as a result. He's down to 191 hit points, but second ram kill of this game takes out the cruiser. And this is a little bit dangerous because the Chinokai's got a decent rate of fire, and yeah, you cannot trade shots in this tank because the alpha damage is so low, your health is so low. He's got the same amount of hit points as the Chinokai, but the Chinokai does significantly more damage, almost twice as much damage per shot. So Sherby has waited for the Matilda to come up and support him. He's on very, very low health, 67 health. There's a Crusader moving up from below. Matilda's dealing with the Chinokai. Sherby moves up, this is a big mistake. Yeah. So the Chinokai made the right decision there, went for the tank that was on lower health. He eventually dies to the Crusader. I really think Sherby could have waited. He really could have waited for the Crusader to move up. Could have waited for the Matilda to engage the Chinokai before risking his life. But yeah, Chinokai made the right decision taking out Sherby. Sherby finishes on 5 kills and almost 2k damage in a tier 5 game. Thankfully, his team go on to wrap up the game. So yeah, the M7, really nice to feature it on the channel again. Sherby pretty much playing the tank to its strengths, using its camo rating, using the rate of fire, taking shots from medium to long range without exposing his tank. Low hit points, low armor, so a lot of the shots that hit him penned. I think he only managed to bounce one shot in that entire game. But the tank is fast, it's maneuverable, it's a typical medium tank. If you like medium tank gameplay or want to learn how to play medium tanks, then I think the M7 is a very good low to mid tier tank to learn how to play medium tanks in. As I say, you can flank, you can get to the sides and rear of enemy tanks. The penetration on the gun is quite good. It's the 6-pounder. So yeah, sometimes against heavily armored targets you're going to have problems, but if you carry a little bit of premium as Sherby did, again, not that big an issue. So pretty good game in the M7, and it's really nice to feature it on the channel again. As I say, it's kind of a cross between a light tank and a medium tank. It began its life as a light tank, was eventually reclassified as a medium tank, but it still holds a lot of the light tank characteristics. So you can play it almost like a scout, or you could play it like a typical medium tank and use it as a flanker. Just be aware, as I say, no armor, very few hit points, and as a result, I think a lot of people dislike it. And also because of its place in a tech tree where it's surrounded by light tanks and light tanks lead onto it, light tanks lead off it, then I think it's a little bit out of place. But as I say, if you consider the history of the M7, then it's pretty much a light tank, and it can be played like a light tank if you really want to. So Sherby finished top on XP with 1077, good game, and almost 2k damage in a tier 5 medium tank with a gun that doesn't do a lot of alpha. Some nice flanking by Sherby, some nice ram kills, and a little bit unfortunate to make a mistake right at the end, but he finished up with 5 kills, and as I say, Sherby sent some better games in with much more kills, a couple of Radley Walters games in theirs, but I really wanted to talk about the M7. So Sherby fired 35, hit 33, most of the shots were at close to medium range. Sometimes the 6-pounder is criticized because it's not that accurate over distance, and also the aim time is quicker than the reload, so that can cause you to miss a few shots, but not in that particular replay. Of the 33 hits, he managed to pen 26, nice amount of damage. He damaged 7, destroyed 5, did 171 assistance damage, and wasn't playing with a premium account. Earned 13, almost 14,000 credits with the standard account. Wasn't his first game of the day, but long time. This replay was sent in a long time ago by Sherby, and it was ignored because it was a part of an email that had so many replays in it. I didn't have time to go sit down and go through them all, but I spotted this M7 and I figured, you know what, haven't featured the M7 on the channel in a long time, and haven't talked about the M7 very much either. So there you go, M7 gameplay by Sherby, and we're going to move on to the AMX 50B. And brynje has found himself on Mountain Pass in the AMX 50B, the tier 10 French heavy tank. This tank, I'm looking forward to it. At the moment, I'm kind of stalled on my French grind. I'm currently working towards the getting free modules for the AMX 50-120, which is the tier 9, but I've got other tanks I want to get before that. But yeah, the AMX 50B, it's only featured on the channel once before. It's the tier 10 French tank. It basically gets the same autoloader as the tier 9 gets, but it gets slightly better penetration, gets a similar amount of damage, I believe, off the top of my head. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I think the burst damage is a bit better on the 50B. Now, where the 50B is a lot better than the AMX 120 is the fact it has very good hull armor. In fact, the frontal hull armor on the AMX 50B is very un-French-like. It is extremely strong, so if you're facing one of these things frontally, what you want to do is you want to shoot it in the turret. Turret is typically French. It's weak. The hull armor from the front is very good, but as I say, it's French, so the side armor, rear armor is also very poor. One of the nice things, unlike a lot of French autoloaders, is the AMX 50B also gets very good gun depression, but brynje has found himself here on Mountain Pass in a tier 10 game, so he's platooned with some scrub called Osirish in his IS-4. At the time, this was a brand new tank for me, getting used to it, and the Ram in an IS-7. There are 6 tier 10s on our team, just realized that, 5 tier 10s on the enemy team, so that should make it a pretty easy game, shouldn't it? But it doesn't work out that way. Anyway, we're gonna go. So you can see that brynje has 4 shots in his magazine, and the ammo are with 400 damage per shot, so if he can hit and pen every single shot, that's 1600 damage per magazine when you're driving the AMX 50B. Now, that's not going to one clip a lot of tier 10s, but it's going to one clip a lot of tier 8s, and maybe even some tier 9s. So this is an assassin. It's capable of doing a lot of damage very, very quickly. And you can see that brynje has got 12 rounds of APCR premium ammo. And one of the things, if you've watched brynje's replays on my channel before, is one of the things brynje does is he always loads up premium ammo at the very, very start of a game, because brynje is of the opinion, and it's correct, I'm not going to disagree with him, but he's of the opinion that early damage is very, very important. And as a result, he always fires premium at the beginning of a game in order to get that early damage done, because if you can knock out one or two tanks very, very early or get them down on low health, they're going to start playing a lot more passively. So you can see the speed of the AMX 50B is very good. It's faster and more maneuverable than the Tier 9 AMX 120 and FV215B. And brynje is working this corner, gets one shot in. IS-7 is not giving him anything to shoot at. So that was a very high roll. brynje did 472 damage on that shot. Second shot goes in, 478 damage. Two very, very high rolls, considering the gun has an average alpha of 400. But that takes brynje up to almost 1,000 damage already with just two shots. So enemy team are advancing. And brynje, there we go. brynje is angled. He knows the frontal armor on the 50B is very, very good. Angles, bounces the T110E5. In the meantime, I'm using my armor. We're moving up, doing some damage. So brynje is on 1,700 damage from that first clip. And he's reduced a T110E5 down to pretty much half health. And managed to reduce an IS-7 down to roughly about half health as well. So he's sitting here, he's waiting for his reload, and he was a little bit tunnel visioned. It was a little bit tunnel visioned, didn't actually see the E5 pop up to get a shot. Nice gun depression from the E5, but nice shot into the cupola. brynje still firing premium ammo, takes another hit because the E5 is shooting down at brynje. And there is arty in this game, and sometimes, depending on where arty decides to position, they have a shot on this corner, but thankfully they're leaving brynje alone. Another nice shot into the IS-7. So I've taken out the IS-7. That's the top tier heavy on the enemy team gun, or at least one of them. And we're just continuing to work. So Ram, myself and brynje are all working down on this corner. brynje still has two shots left in his clip. And he's just spotted an IS-4 moving across the river. Really surprised the IS-4 did that. He should have been down with the other heavies down on this corner. But brynje moves up, gets one shot in. Below average roll. And another below average roll, 395. brynje's up to 3,200 damage. Goes for a reload. Now, I'm not actually quite sure off the top of my head, because I don't drive this tank, what the reload is. But it looks to be about maybe 28 seconds or so. I'm not quite sure. But it is one of the tanks I'm going to be looking forward to playing, because I absolutely love the AMX 5100 once I got used to it. As I say, I'm working on another tank at the moment, the M103, but brynje has ambushed the IS-7, 3 shots, and unfortunately needs a last shot to take him out. Takes a hit from the Tiger II in the side. The frontal hull armor on the AMX 50B is about the only armor the tank has. Side armor, rear armor, turret armor, all quite poor, but what you can see now is our team have completely collapsed on the 9-0 line. Now, I've already spotted that. I'm on the way back. So while Ram is dealing with the FV215B in the bat chat, unfortunately we've had to leave him because a lot of enemy tanks are rolling down towards our spawn. A lot of enemy tanks were spotted on the 9-0 line. A couple of Waffentraggers, a couple of IS-3s, a Lerva, a Tiger II, an M103. They're all spotted heading down to our spawn. So even though I got a head start heading back, brynje has got the speed and maneuverability to overtake me in the IS-4. And unfortunately, Ram has just gone down to the bat chat. So yeah, things are not looking as comfortable as they were at the start of the game, but brynje moves up, tracks the IS-3 first shot, second shot goes in, M103 comes up. I'm going hull down, brynje's working, but we need to kill this M103 before the bat chat gets our rear. I'm trying to get the M103 to fire. He does put a shot into the M103. brynje's looking for shots, and he gets the cupola. 1, 2, and now he's on a reload. So I'm trying to take shots for the team, move up, still on a lot of health, and our RT shotguns the M103. So cap is defended, and finally enemy RT get involved. So that shot reduces brynje down to 579, but he needs to use his maneuverability, get out of there. I'm pushing forward because the Leva and IS-3 were last spotted heading down the 9-0 lines. I'm going to try and get some vision, and brynje's going to back me up. So at the moment I'm playing the tank role and brynje's playing the spank role. But I'm not spotting anything. Nothing on the 9-0 lines, and I decide to come back. And yes, it looks as if the enemy team have flanked around, so brynje has moved back. Our team are struggling. We've just lost our KV-4, so now it is 3 versus 7. Or even 8. 3 versus 8. Or 7. I can't count, guys, but basically it's myself and brynje and RT versus the rest of the enemy team. RT is still in play. brynje's moved up. He's got a full magazine. 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, and there you go. This is what this tank can do. So he goes for another reload. I'm now in position to start doing the tanking. So brynje can reload in safety. As I say, I didn't spot anything on the 9-0 lines. So, moved up. I'm staying hull down, start putting damage into the tanks. They're advancing. Full health IS-3, full health Tiger 2. RT's not going to be able to get shots from where he is, so brynje, using his maneuverability, gets to the top of the hill. He's going to be ambushing these tanks below us while I'm distracting them. At least that's the plan while we're on TS. So he moves down. He has to be careful because RT's still in play. Gets 1 into the IS-3, another one into the IS-3, sets him on fire. A third one into the IS-3. IS-3 uses a repair kit, or fire extinguisher. Unfortunately, brynje had to use another shot to kill him. He's on a reload, and the Batshot's got my rear. I'm trying to reverse side scrape, but I was very, very healthy. I was on a lot of health, and this Batshot has reduced me down to 231 health. Nice flank by the Batshot. But I'm still alive, managed to get away with it. Tiger 2 and Borsig are moving in, take out the Tiger 2, get the gun off the battlefield. brynje's almost reloaded. I just need to bounce this Tiger 2. RT misses. And something tracks me. But brynje's going to work and saves my ass. So enemy team are complaining we're camping, but yeah, it was like 3 versus 7. We were on the other side of the map and had to come back to defend, so I wouldn't really call that camping. But we've reduced it down to 3 versus 2 now. Just a Borsig and a RT left. And basically on TS, what I'm saying to brynje is, brynje, I could take a hit. I mean, I'm on low health, the Borsig might kill me, but on the other hand, he was last spotted on the bridge. He's probably come across the bridge. I've got the chance of bouncing a Borsig shot, whereas it's far less likely brynje is. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to go out, hope to bounce the Borsig and spot the Borsig. brynje's reloaded. He's ready. So I advance, and I'm going to try and spot the Borsig. And I spot him, but unfortunately I don't manage to bounce. But I had more chance of bouncing than brynje did, so brynje's able to poke out. We didn't know how much health the Borsig was going to be on. And brynje finishes up the Borsig for kill number 6. So he's on 9,511 damage. So now it is 2 versus 1, just RT left, and as I say, the AMX, other than the front of the hull, is not very well armoured, so if RT manages to hit brynje, he's dead. brynje goes for another reload, and he's going to hunt down RT. So we're going to speed it up, actually, because RT has not relocated. brynje's on the hunt. He has to be a little bit careful. Our RT has decided to move down the 9-0 lines, maybe to try and locate their RT, just in case the enemy RT is relocating or trying to flank. But brynje moves over towards enemy spawn. He was hit by RT. He knows that RT last fired at him from over here. So he's moving in, looking for enemy RT. He's risking it all. And he manages to find the M40, M43. Gets 1 shot in, gets another shot in. Wraps up the game on 9,911 damage and 7 kills. So not a bad little game from Brynje in the AMX 50B. I can't help but wonder if he's having games as good as this in Armored Warfare. I haven't touched Armored Warfare since closed beta, but it was obviously an ace in the AMX 50B. He earned a crucial contribution. In fact, our platoon earned crucial contribution. He finished up with high caliber and the automatic top gun. We didn't do too badly. AMX 50B, almost 10k damage, 7 kills, and he earned 1419 XP. I didn't do too badly either, 3,510 damage in one of my first games in the IS-4, and I finished up with 1077. Wasn't enough for an ace, obviously, and Bram, even though he died relatively early in that game, he still managed to do 2,545 damage, pick up 1 kill, and get 825 XP, so not a bad effort from the platoon, picking up 12 kills between us. Went aggressive at the beginning, had to come back and defend our spawn. Unfortunately, our team collapsed on one flank, but ended up having a very, very good game as a result. Brynje pretty much carried us, I think. 29 shots fired, 29 hits, and 28 penetrations. The gun on the AMX 50B looks so good. It's a tank I'm really, really looking forward to playing, but as I say, other tanks are taking priority because I've stalled on other tank lines a lot longer than I have on the French heavies. He damaged 11, destroyed 7, earned 4 base defense points, 6 base cap points, and 26,000 credits. Even though he fired 2 clips of our 2 magazines of premium ammo at the start of the game, he still earned 26,000 credits on a premium account and a tier 10 for that effort. It was his first game of the day as well, so we ended up earning 6,387. But yeah, I want to thank Brynje for playing that game. I miss you, buddy. Come back to World of Tanks sooner rather than later. And I want to thank Sherby for sending his M7 replay in with a bunch of replays so long ago. Sorry it's taken me so long to get to it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time.